what I found is that most guys try to wing it. If you're a man listening to this podcast right now, if you want to grow spiritually, you got to have somebody coaching you.
Welcome to the Step Up Podcast, where our goal is to help you step up in every area of your life. I'm your host, Josh Thomas, and I'm joined by my pastor, Chris Kouba.
Yeah. So what do you do to work out?
I really don't work out all that much anymore. I did 75 hard with you a few seasons ago.
For 2 years.
2 years I did 75 hard with you.
You didn't do it the second year.
Okay.
You don't do it the first year.
This is very true.
And to be fair, you didn't finish it the first year.
I finished it the first year, and then I definitely didn't finish it the second year.
The point of 75 hard is for you to actually do something for 75 straight days.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
That creates a habit that you can't break.
Yeah, so my dad gave me really good genes, and so at some point, they always tell me it's going to catch up to me.
It will catch up to you.
But it hadn't caught up to me yet.
So you do nothing?
I will go to the gym with a friend. And usually my friends, they are in the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week. And so I'll just hop in with them and I'll do it. Now,
do you do whatever it is they tell you to do?
Yeah,
or what do they do?
So whatever day they're on, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, hey, bro, you just tell me what to do. And that's what I'm going to do.
So do you walk in with a plan then of some kind? If you're going to do it. Like when you did 75 hard, what did you decide?
Yeah, so I did. So what a lot of people don't know is that yoga is actually really hard to do. It's very calisthenic yoga. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Pretty tough to do. And so that's what I did. And I did that in the afternoon, in the mornings, and then I'd go to the gym in the afternoons. And I'd run and I'd bike. I actually got into biking at one point.
Did you ever go to like a class?
No. I
love classes.
No.
I can't stand the walking in and like, oh, what am I going to do today? I just can't.
I can't. So that's the way that I work. But my boys, they have workout plans. So like they'll be like, hey, we're gonna work these 3 muscle areas today, and I'm like, cool, that's great. But it's nothing compared to what you do, which I think is absolutely insane.
No, it's dumb.
No.
It's dumb.
Anybody that does CrossFit is just a different level of.
It's dumb. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries and all that kind of stuff.
And you've gone back.
Well, I recently went back, and it's been, I've not been able to get hurt. It's been good. I am convinced, though, part of what I love about it is the fact that somebody else does all the prep work.
And you just step in and do it.
I just walk in and they tell me what I'm going to do. And then I've got a coach who's able to like be there and to like tell me, hey, you're doing this right or you're doing this wrong. Or
do you like that?
First of all, not every coach is the same. Let's be clear.
True.
We know that to be the case. But there's a few that are really, really, really good.
Okay.
And so like, I don't love it, but on the other hand, I do love somebody saying, you need to push harder. Like, so Lexi Skaggs, she's in our church. She's one of the coaches up there. She loves to push. How about that?
Yeah.
And I think she kind of picks on me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you a little bit. But it's totally one of those settings to where they will. I mean, I had a coach today who was telling me about form and stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't have known that otherwise. Yeah. And you can get hurt.
And it's a little bit protective too.
I have to think about getting hurt a little more these days than the case.
Yeah, a little true.
But there's no question about, I do like the environment where somebody comes in, they tell me what to do, and then they're also like, come on, you can do it fast. Like you can do it better. Like you can do it. And I naturally am that way a little bit. Yeah. But there's all of us when we're tired and when we're worn out.
Yeah, we need somebody that can. Yeah, like we need somebody that just has our best interests in mind. That's seeing things that we don't see.
Yes,
a coach essentially.
Yes. And I've always liked coaches. Kind of in every area of my life. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I've always been drawn to that. Just the idea of somebody who cares enough about me, who sees enough in me that I can't see, that can also, hey, you're doing that really well, or hey, you're doing it this, but you could be here. But then also some that come alongside and they're like, hey, the best coaches I've had have given me some of the hardest things I've had to hear. Yeah. I mean, and looking back, I wouldn't have necessarily called it coaching in the moment. I would have called it correcting.
It's definitely
I'd call it rebuking.
Though.
I'd call it whatever. It was the absolute best thing ever because those words stuck in my head and it just helped me on a big way.
But the thing though now is like, I mean, it's really easy to see how coaches instrumental. So my high school coaches loved them, right? Once you kind of move out of
soccer player, right?
Soccer player and baseball, right? Which a lot of people don't know about the baseball piece and track, by the way. Yeah. So there's some stuff, that kind of supplements and goes alongside bands. I just did march all the time, right?
That's good.
But it's weird because it's like when you're in an organized organization when it comes to sports, you have a coach.
Sure.
But then once you move out of that world, it's like, okay, like you still got areas that you need to grow in. And so I think it just speaks to the value of not just having a coach in the athletic world but just kind of overall.
But what's odd is that like some people still have coaches out here in business
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like I know a couple of guys that are working in situations to where they're engineering world, that kind of thing, and they've got tracks that their companies have put in place, kind of leadership tracks that involve them either going to see a coach or being able to go and get some help. And I hear about that, and I think that sounds awesome. And you can kind of see the trajectory even of their company or of their business because they're getting that outside perspective, or they're getting someone speaking into development of certain skills. But what is odd is we don't ever talk about this, or you do very rarely see this, particularly with men when it comes to your spiritual lives. What's weird though is like parenting wise, man, it's unbelievable how quickly a dad, I did it myself, my son decided he wanted to play tennis last year. I was a tennis player growing up, and so I love playing tennis. I take him out there, and all of a sudden I start seeing, oh my gosh, he can actually hit the ball. Like he can actually do some. There's some natural stuff. You know what I immediately did? I called Sheldon Hawthorne, who's a tennis coach, and said, I need you to meet with him and tell me what I got.
Yeah.
And I said, Sheldon, give me a plan. I'm going to do some work. And cool. And I wanted to do it, but the reality is I got him with Sheldon, and man, he has absolutely taken off. And I have seen the value of having a coach in my son's life. And so I'm quick to do that as a dad.
But for yourself.
But when it comes to myself, especially when it comes to the things that matter most spiritually, what I found is that most guys try to wing it. Most guys try to just hope
figure
for
it
the
out.
best.
Figure it out.
Or they remember a little bit about what they saw growing up, and they try to replicate some of those things. But I don't think there's the same intentionality and the same focus that I want to argue is vitally important. If you're a man listening to this podcast right now, if you want to grow spiritually, you got to have somebody coaching you.
Yeah. It's kind of like everybody needs a coach, regardless of what stage or phase of life you're in. Everybody needs somebody that's a little farther along than them, that has experience of what they're going through, that can speak into their life and call out the blind spots they can't see.
I wrote down a couple things. Let me just mention these. I think it's see if you resonate with them all about what makes a good coach. Let me just ask you that before we get into these characteristics. Who would you say is your best coach you've ever had?
My goodness. So Coach Martin was my high school soccer coach. Now he screamed. Boy, he was a screamer, man. He screamed, and you just knew, but you knew what a good scream was. And what a bad scream was. And so like a good scream was a scream that came from love. Like Thomas, he would just call me Thomas. He's like, Thomas, you're better than what I'm seeing right now. And that was a good scream. A bad scream was like, why didn't we just get that goal? Or why aren't you swinging out? And you just kind of knew like, okay, he's not the
tone of his voice.
Yeah, just the tone of his voice. But when we came off the field, he would always give us critiques. But the first thing he would tell us was like, hey, you know that I believe that you can win this game. And we just knew. So I would say like the markings of a great coach is someone that's not afraid to push you a little bit, but also just like has that belief in you. Like, hey, I believe in what you're doing, and I actually think you can move it. And so I would say those are just a few things for me that I just remember from Coach Martin outside of his screaming.
That was it. Coach Corey was mine. So Coach Corey was a longtime administrator here in the area, actually. But he was my middle school football coach. In middle school, we've talked about this before last season on the podcast. Like everybody's all a big deal in middle school until you get popped.
You get hit.
And then all of a sudden you realize what kind of football player that you were. And so I just remember just because he made something that was exciting, but also nerve-wracking, but also dangerous, all that fun. And I don't even remember what he said. There wasn't like a speech that he gave.
Do you remember?
I just remember him in that pivotal place, and he made football something that I longed to play, loved to be a part of. And he became a guy that I've talked to multiple times, outside of that one setting. Okay, how about this though? Let me give you the flip side of that, and I want to hear yours as well. What's the worst coach you ever had?
Ooh, okay. I'm not going
to tell you mine because my guy's still in the area, and I don't want him to have any sort of flack headed his way, although he deserves all of it. I'm just saying that up front. But he was a yeller.
Oh, so he screamed.
And he was a yeller in that bad way, and that's all he ever did. And so because of that, I played baseball, and I was pretty good at baseball, and I did good at baseball along the way. But I got on his team because he was supposed to be a really good coach, and he made me hate playing baseball.
Man.
Like it ended it for me because I just couldn't. There was no soft love side that you just said. It was just all you did this and you did this and
there
you
for
did
sure
this.
is a delicate balance to the art of coaching.
For sure.
Where you got to be able to push people a little bit, but they also got to know that you're not pushing them from this place of just trying to be, like I'm pushing you from a place of care. And so That's what I'd say for sure.
I wrote
You got
down some things.
thoughts?
Let me give you some characteristics of great coaches. Number one, they see potential, good and bad, that you can't see in yourself. I think back, I had a guy named Mark Kiefer who was a mentor leader for me. He was a very high exec at AT&T, was in our church, and I just kind of began to set up a time to meet with him. And man, Mark began to see things in me that he would say stuff like, man, you did really well in this, or I observed you doing this, and I love the way you thought about this. And I didn't really know that those things were one good or those things were abnormal until Mark pointed it out, and it let me begin to see strengths in myself where I could then leverage them and use them to my advantage. Whereas before, because they were a little more intuitive to me, it didn't stick out.
Yeah.
Mark was also quick to be like, okay, you were short in the steel, you were short in this meet. Like he was able to point out some things, but because there was both.
Yeah.
Like if you just have a coach who all they point out is the bad things going on in you, at the end of the day, that's not a coach, that's a critic. Yeah. Okay. But if you have somebody that is doing the dance, having the high scream, the love scream, and the why did you do this scream?
Yeah.
In some sense, it makes that critique, it makes the bad things, man, stick out, and you're like, okay, he's for me.
Yeah.
And so because he's for me, I'm gonna listen up on this. Like I'm gonna hear it differently.
I definitely resonate with that because there have been times, even for me, where I haven't seen something in myself.
Sure.
And someone was like, hey, have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this? Or hey, man, you're really good at this. And I'm like, well, that's just kind of a natural thing. Case in point, our Starbucks that's right here in the church parking lot.
Yes.
I went with my mentor, Eric Smith. He's a great guy in the church. I'll probably reference him a few times throughout this conversation. But we went over one time, and I just developed incredible relationship with the Starbucks baristas. And Eric and I walked over one Sunday morning, and then we walked back. And as we were walking back, he goes, Josh, he goes, man, I don't think you understand the gift that you have to just connect with people so easily in the way that you do. And to me, I'm like, I'm just talking to people. Like that's like, I don't see that necessarily. So like what I would just consider normal, Eric is calling a strength. And so what that does though, is like, oh, okay. But it also goes, okay, Eric, well, what are the areas that you've seen about my life where you're like, man, I don't really know if you understand how much you can be developed in this area as well. And so I definitely see both sides of it for myself as well.
I tell you what, you bring it up. There's nothing more life-giving than when a coach does that.
Yeah.
There's also nothing more helpful than when a coach points out those negative things and you're humble enough to actually receive them.
Yeah.
Because there may be people, I'm thinking through this right now, the men that are listening to this, that have a coach, they're just not listening to it.
Yeah.
They're just not at a place to be able to receive it because they know the best, they know whatever. Yeah. A part of being able to experience the benefit of coaching is you got to be a willingness and an openness to be able to have someone realize, hey, you got blind spots.
Yeah.
Blind spots that could be things that you're not leveraging enough because they're good, or also blind spots because they are blind to you, but they're obvious to everybody else.
Yeah. And a thought on that too, would even be like, it's not just so much because like we all want to hear the good things about us.
Yeah.
It's the blind spots. It's like, okay, well, if you just want to hear the good about you, not the bad about you, you don't want a coach. You want a cheerleader.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so a coach kind of
your mom
has
to do that. At the end of the day, you don't need,
it's kind of like you need like what makes the coach is not just the affirmation, but it's the, hey, here's some things that I see you can work on and some things you can develop. So
I wrote another, number 2, they help you when you're stuck. I remember in my early days when I was here at United City, and it was kind of a change situation, having to lead through a lot of that. And man, I just remember kind of over questioning myself on everything. Like I was just like, I got paralysis by analysis type deal. I wasn't able to actually move forward on some certain things that needed to have moved forward on. And so I remember Dan Dumas is a coach of mine. He's been a guy that's just been a constant buddy, friend, mentor, all of the things in there. He's amazing. And I remember though, talking stuff through, and Dan was just like, what's your problem? I'm like, what do you mean what's my problem? I got crazy going all around me. What do you think that's my problem? And he goes, do you know what to do? Like, do it. Trust yourself. Yeah. You're a leader. You know, you were made for this. Yeah. You were called by God to do this job at this particular time, and you need to go. And man, I'm just telling you, that's all I needed. I didn't need the wisdom.
Yeah.
I didn't need, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew exactly how it needed to happen. Yeah. I knew all of those things. What I was stuck on was the fact that I didn't have the confidence. And what a coach in that situation provided for me was the push.
Yeah.
To just, no, you need to go.
Yeah.
Right. And man, it makes all the difference in the world. I was able to operate with confidence. I was able to operate with a certainty. And yes, prayerful, you for sure are walking, but I'd done all those things, but I still wasn't moving.
Yeah.
I stuck.
Yeah.
And he just was able to help me get past that. Number 3, they keep perspective in tough times. Man, there's no question about it. There's going to be seasons of our lives whenever we're going to have stuff just break.
Yeah.
We're going to have body parts break. We're going to have stuff at the house, cars break. We're going to have just financial things that are just going to
happen.
Just all the type of stuff. And it's very easy to allow circumstances to just begin to cloud everything. Yeah. And that becomes just this whole idea of like the sky is falling. And sometimes you just need a coach to be like, no, have you seen this? Remember this blessing you forgot about 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Do you remember this time when God brought you through? Like just they're not in the middle of it. Yeah. So they're able to kind of be far enough away from it to be able to kind of give some help. There
is a particular gift, like a sweet gift in the proximity of a coach and the longevity that they've been with you. You know, it's like how close they've been to you over a long period of time. I think about guys like Todd Stewart, who was with me when I first got here. And I'll call him every now and again to just be like, hey, Todd, like, you know, the ministry is nowhere where it was when I first got here, but here's some things I'm thinking through and here's kind of what I'm feeling. And it's the most comforting thing when talking with Josh, you remember when blank, you know, and it's like, man.
You need a you remember when guy.
Yes. It's like,
you do.
Yes. And I was like, he's like, hey, you remember when this? And I'm like, oh, yeah. He goes, hey, you're not there anymore.
Yeah.
You're here now and you got different problems, and so just kind of giving you that outside perspective and for them to be close to you in that, like, and I'm like, you know, like I can't, you know, I could dismiss these words, but Todd's known me in this capacity, this close to me for this amount of time. Yeah. He probably knows or has a pretty good handle on what the actual situation is.
You need buddies who you can vent to. That's good.
Yeah.
That's different from a coach.
I would agree.
A coach is somebody who's going to let you vent. Get it all out. Okay, you done? Yeah. All right. Now let me tell you what's actually true. Yeah. This is what you think is true, but this is what's actually true.
And it's also good that they're kind of removed from it a little bit because like you're in it. Like we're in it, especially in ministry, right? We feel it. And we bring the emotion and we bring the frustration and all the things too. And they're just like, oh, here, you know, I just sit outside of it. So that's what I'd say.
Let me give you another one. They make victory sweeter. I mean, going back to what you just said, let's just talk about this. So you had a young adult night on the lawn recently, and it was awesome.
It was amazing.
And I sent a picture of that to Todd. Okay,
I didn't know that. Okay,
and you didn't know that, and he was, he was just kind of freaking out all over text or whatever. It's that situation though, because I knew he knew those early days. When things were started at his house, the little small group and whatever else, and now you get to be able to see that. It's those types of things. I feel that all the time as a staff team. That's one of the benefits I love of being a part of a church is because we work towards big days. We work towards big events. We work towards just big days of ministry. And we get the benefit of kind of getting on a Tuesday. And, I feel like I'm a coach in some sense to our team. Of course. And being able to just be there up front of everybody and getting to spike the football all together and just be like, all right, God did this.
Yeah, we crushed
this and did and just it makes it so much better. On the same way, I've got people in my life who I'm able to kind of call who knew what it was like in those early days, who knew what it was like during some of the tough times,
and they celebrate
who know
with
that
you.
There's always, and man, they're just like, man, it was awesome. Like that's so great. They're I can feel their pride with me and excitement with me, and it's not a weird thing.
Yeah, because they're invested
it's more
in
of the victories just feel better, right? It's the ability to be able to know what we went through together, and hey, we're here.
Yeah, and we're celebrating.
Like 2 weeks ago, it may have been tough, and it may have been really hard to get to this point, and that's all water under the bridge at this point. Now we're here, and now we can begin to celebrate. And man, I just think having somebody in your life that can come alongside and do that makes a big difference.
It's so helpful.
Next one I wrote down, they foster unity in teams. There's no question about it that adversity and difficulty and challenges can become something that can break teams apart. Yeah. And I believe there's no question about it. A coach kind of helps come alongside, and maybe they do the cheesy exercise that you think is cheesy but works.
Yeah.
maybe they do the version of the trust falls or whatever, the updated, cooler type thing. But at the end of the day, happens. We've had that with our staff retreats. We bring in people and they'll come in and they'll begin to just do some certain things, poke and prod in certain ways that take our team to a different level because we all kind of went on this journey together. Yeah. And that unity is so powerful in the midst of a team. And so I just want to encourage you to think that through again, just in your own life of who have been those people that have allowed you to sort of rally together, whether it be as a family, whether it be as a business, whether it be as a team. Coaches can play pivotal roles in leading to that.
Well, let's talk that through. So let's bring it just a little closer to home. So we've talked kind of about the leadership development piece of it. How have you fostered community, or how have you fostered unity just with, Team Kouba, right? You referenced that a few times on stage.
Oh, yeah.
How have you,
That's part of it. And it's weird. It's
kind of playing coach. Have you
thinking
done that?
through that? Because we're at a different season now. I've got 4 teenagers, one's graduating, and we're,
sounds fun, but
all
chaotic.
Of college. Yeah, it's just kind of, like I just sent a text out to a bunch of folks that said, hey, any of y'all want these bikes? Because we're buying cars, not bikes. I mean, it's just like, I remember when we used to have bikes. That was awesome. Now it's vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
So,
a little less maintenance on a bike.
Early on, I think for us, whenever they were younger, we used to do something called Team Kouba Day.
That's cool.
And we basically would budget money set aside, and Hillary knew she could spend that because I'd be too cheapskate to buy it. You're spending how much on this? No. It's already budgeted. It's already there. And we would go do days that we call them Team Kouba Days. And it was just fun little normal things that we would normally do, or go visit, aquarium, or go zoo, whatever it may be, little stuff like that. Yeah. But it's all of us together, and it's just kind of trying to just speak that unity. We've got a chat group now called Team Kouba.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of idea.
I'm guessing they text a lot in that.
We have a group chat, we have a family group chat, and stuff like that. That's different. We try to figure out ways to celebrate. Family meals are harder and harder than they've ever been, but we try to make sure that that's the case when we're together. We've done things in the past. Stair prayers, something we do. It's kind of a cheesy deal, but it works. Again, cheesy a lot of times works. Yeah. Where we'll go and we'll, on a Sunday night in particular, but other times throughout the week as well, we'll kind of all gather on the stairs and basically pray. Awesome. And it's not like this massive, super deep, super weird spiritual thing. No. Half the time it's like, stop hitting your brother. Like, what are you doing? Stop doing this. Like, I need you to be quiet. So get off your phone. It's all that stuff. But it's still an opportunity, I think, for us just to sort of identify like, hey, we're going to kind of do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to go to your sister's game. You're going to have to go to your brother's game. We don't make them go to all of them, that deal, because it's not realistic. But we do try to do certain things that I think just try to create this identity. My wife's amazing at this. She does an incredible job of leading the way in a lot of these various things. But it's weird. We're about to lose one of them. And she's about to go off to school, and we know the dynamic's going to be different and all of that. But we want to move to the place where we also too, I want to coach my team in such a way where when we are together, we're unified.
Yeah. And it sounds like that starts in the early years.
Oh, it starts in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think there's no question about that. And so, you can't force anything and do whatever else, but I think you can create. I look at right now, in fact, just thinking this through, one of the things I've done along the way as it relates to this kind of unity, even in my own family, I've gone to guys in our church and I've sat down with them and be like, I need you to walk me through what it looks like to raise girls that love Jesus and date and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key thing is being, I just went to these guys and just said, can I take you to lunch?
Yeah.
And they were coaching me and we never used that language.
It's like, hey, I got 7 questions that I've seen you do this really, really well.
Yeah. Your daughter's amazing.
And I want to figure out how you did that.
I want my daughter to be like your daughter.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with raising boys. And I've had that same conversation and just kind of go some of them related to just, how did you navigate vehicles? I'm about to have my 5th vehicle at my house and I got another one coming up in 2 years doing the same thing. So so there's practical things, but it's also like, hey, how do I raise men who love Jesus? How do you handle some of these types of things? And the relationships, I think, that were formed by just the simple question of, hey, can I take you to lunch? Yeah. I got some things I would love to talk to you about this. What I found is that people don't have any issues whatsoever talking about things that they love.
You just have to ask.
You have to ask.
You got to
be putting yourself in a posture, willingness to be able, being able to do that. It's odd. People do this. Like if you get into golf, you go and get lessons. If you have some sort of, if you consult a financial advisor and get feedback from them and get them to try to help. There's no reason why this shouldn't be as normal and as natural as possible when it comes to your spiritual life.
Absolutely.
So, man, what this looks like, if you've got a guy that you're like, man, he prays different.
Mm-hmm.
Like his public prayers, it doesn't feel showy. It's like he's talking to his dad. Like it feels that way. I've had that before. I've gotten with those guys and I've just been like, can you walk me through what you do? Like walk me through what this looks like. I'm usually asking for the mechanics. They usually give me a different answer.
Yeah.
It's usually more about our relationship. And well, I mean, this is what it looks like. And I'm always sometimes surprised by how non-flashy it is.
Yeah. It's just like, no, this is just what I do.
This is just longevity over a course of time has led to this. If you have a guy that shares their faith and you see the way that they're winsome and the way that they share the faith of somebody, ask them how they do that.
Sounds like a coach in the spiritual sense is just a discipler.
There's no question about it.
Yeah, it's just like
we're using fancy language to try to basically get many men to realize this is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, it's discipleship.
I think about that in my own life and think about the guys that I've spent time both discipling and then also the guys that I also have poured into me. And yes, they were coaches for me, but yes, Jesus calls it go and make disciples of all nations.
We could probably talk about some of the spiritual stuff.
There's no question about that. We need to. We're gonna have to go.
Yeah, we probably need another one
because we got a bunch more to talk through. Because one of the things I want to talk through is how.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do this? How do you get there? How do you get a coach? What does this even look like for you to be able to do that? We've got some exciting things we're rolling out here at United City that's going to be helping facilitate some of this. Yeah. But really, it's more of a posture of who you are that's going to come down to it that we got to talk through.
Yeah. Everybody needs a coach. There's value in a coach. There's a whole lot of stuff that still left on the table that I think we're going to talk about here soon. Next time. But
I enjoyed it.
For now, it was good. This
episode one,
season 2. It was good. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys at the next show. Thanks for listening to the Step Up Podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe, and share this episode to help us get the word out. We would love to hear from you. So please leave us a comment and even leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast. For additional information or to reach out directly, please visit chriskouba.com. That's chriskouba.com. You can also follow Pastor Chris on social media and just search Chris Kouba. Kouba is Kouba. You can also follow United City Church on all socials at United City Church. That's going to be UNTD City Church. Thanks so much.